Well, and take it a step further back to the foundation, you have to be humble enough and
Yes.
vulnerable enough to admit you even have a bottleneck.
Yes.
Now,
100%.
now imagine doing this in aviation, like the movie Top Gun 1 and 2, very accurate. Like pilots are cocky.
Yeah.
So imagine a bunch of pilots all working on an aviation business,
Uh-huh.
like who all think they're Maverick. Like
Hmm.
there were some, we butted some heads and everything else. Like you have to approach things, especially as you begin to lead teams
Yeah.
with, I mean, you need to believe in yourself. There's no, I'm not saying just be a sheep.
Sure.
You got to believe in yourself, but you have to exercise humility and have some vulnerability to say, is this what this person's saying, right? Like, is there some truth?
Hmm.
Is how I've approached everything from early YouTube comments where
Hmm.
some hater would just, be in their mom's basement firing off.
Yeah.
I used to get all fired up. And now I look at these things and go, okay, is there some truth here? Is there something I can learn from?
Yeah.
Was I really, did I have a lot of tone when I was talking in that video? Maybe I
Yeah.
was, and I can learn from that. And I'd say, you know what, you were kind of rude about it too, but thank you for teaching me that,
Yeah.
Mr. YouTube comment.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, you have to realize that there could be a problem and humble enough to go out and find it. I know you've read the book several times, Think and Grow Rich,
Hmm.
Napoleon Hill. And one thing Napoleon Hill says in there is in every adversity, there's a seed of a greater advantage.
Hmm.
And I began to really stand on that mantra as we hit these problems, saying, okay, this stinks. Yeah, we're going to miss payroll. Or I mean, I'm talking big stuff like missing payroll or behind on a lease payment or like big stuff that
Sure.
shakes most people. And there's a seed of a greater advantage to this. But what is a seed, right? A
Hmm.
seed is nothing if you don't put it in good soil, if you don't water it, if you don't take care
Hmm.
of it, if you don't give it light, if you don't bring it in when it's too cold, all of these things. So we would choose to see the good in every little speed bump or sometimes a wall that we would hit, um, and go about it that way.
I love it. So much wisdom in that, and hearing this first part of your story. So if we now look to the next stage, you've kind of taken us past the YouTube. You set some systems in place, and now you're able to work on the company. What was next for you? And I mean, almost in terms of adversity too. Like, what was the next thing that you had to tackle?
Um, we'll relate it right back to the podcast. If we're exploring growth,
Hmm.
we went from $100,000 3 years in a row to hiring that first employee and thus a subsequent second employee. That year we did $1 million,
That's awesome.
like to the T. That was the goal, and it was literally to the T. I
It's
said,
amazing
"Ooh,
how you
there's
unlock that.
something,
Yeah.
yeah, there's something to this hiring thing. There's something to this leverage thing's legit. It just
Yeah.
and leverage gets greater and greater, right? The wrench just gets bigger and bigger for
Yes.
turning that
Yeah.
leverage around. So we hired more, and 1 million became 2 million, and 2 million became 3 million. But that 36 employees later, you go, I've got no systems for
Hmm.
36 employees.
Hmm.
Now I've got 36 employees, and guess who they all reported to?
Oh, yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like then I made a monster. And it was almost like, and this was our mantra for well over a year.
Mhm.
My right hand, I was actually just talking to him before we did this podcast. He was calling me. Our mantra he was our COO and still is, we have to get healthy where we are,
Mhm.
like right where we are. In aviation, if you're going to navigate, you got to know where you're going. We were always good at where we were going,
Mhm.
but sometimes we lied about where we were.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that sounds so silly to say,
Yeah.
but I believe entrepreneurs do that. And you can't do that in an airplane. Like you're either here or you're not.
That's right.
So we always know where we're going and we're going to get there, but don't lie to yourself about where you're at.